Hey everyone, it's Dawnu here, back to another lore breakdown. This time will be a lore breakdown of the story of Brimstone. I decided to start with Brimstone because he is the first agent, one of the co-founders of the Valorant project, and thus I think starting from agent number one would be the best. So we've got Brimstone. From his biography, we know he's from the USA. He used to be a commander in the, we assume, the USA Army, and he now works for Kingdom, or used to work for Kingdom, but he has still connections in Kingdom. Either one of the two. It's not been explicitly revealed whether he is still a part of Kingdom. We assume he's still a part of Kingdom, but he might also just have connections with Kingdom. Considering that his Sky Smokes and his orbital cannon are still using Kingdom technology, we would assume that yes, he is a part of Kingdom. And now for Brimstone's voice lines, we know that he is the oldest character in the game. Pretty sure, depending if you count Yoru's origin story. But they think I'm an old dog. I'll show them the tricks I know. Obviously, this is just like a reference because he's been in the military for many years. Before he obviously is retired now, but he's come back to join the Valorant protocol. No one died on me. We're all going home. This is a very key theme in Brimstone's story. He's all about no man left behind, and he wants to save everyone. He's a very moral leader, and he really takes on that leadership role where he's got to make sure that everyone does survive and that everyone's making it home. And if they don't, then it really weighs on his mind, and it really, he really hates it. And then obviously the next thing, I can't get the setting menu on my display to turn off. How do I? Oh, got it. This is a big running gag joke through all the voice lines that I'll go through. Is that he's a boomer, he needs help, he's old, and all that. But there is some voice lines that do really appreciate that he is veteran and that he is most experienced there. And obviously, he was never working at a desk, and this is a reference to Split, which is obviously the Kingdom headquarters. So he worked for Kingdom, or still does, but he works more on the ground rather than in desks and doing paperwork and stuff. So with character interactions, we see that with Breach, it's very much a love-hate relationship here, but I think it's more Breach and Brimstone don't have the greatest relationship. Breach obviously being an international criminal before he joined the Valorant project, and Brimstone being a part of the military, they're very at odds. And then obviously with the Brimstone, when he sees his copy, he says, "If you got a problem with me, take it out on my double," which is interesting because he calls it double instead of a copy, so that kind of indicates that he knows more about what's happening with duality. And then he just makes fun that he's of himself, that he's stubborn, and I mean that's pretty true. He is much more towards the old ways of doing things, and obviously not being a radiant as well. He is more into the normal way of doing war. So they got Cypher. This one's not really that interesting, and these ones are just pretty general. But then, human or not, that Omen can be killed. I think it's a pretty interesting one because anything to do with Omen at this point in the story is interesting and helps us reveal little bits about the story. Human or not, so Brimstone maybe knows what happened to Omen. He refers to being not human, but we obviously know that Omen is still human, just a part of a human, a fragment of a human, or a fragment of a memory of a human. Obviously, he really acts as a leader towards everyone in Valorant. And he calls Sova a soldier. He doesn't call anyone else a soldier but Sova, which indicates maybe Sova at one point was a part of the Russian military. And maybe that Brimstone does know that. And then with Viper, it's actually because we know that Viper and Brimstone both founded the Valorant Protocol together, along with the backing of Kingdom. watch these toxins this time. Those toxins these times. I'm not breathing that cap wrap again, which means that maybe at one point Viper and Brimstone either fought each other, or Viper obviously did something to Brimstone where he breathed in Viper's smokes, which not the greatest thing. And then we find out a little bit about the Viper's revenge story here. About she wants revenge, and it's now her chance against the other characters and agents. So that may be maybe interesting for when we cover Viper's story. And then all the other voice lines are really reinforce the fact that he is a boomer, or he's older than all the other characters. Next, we go on to Viper's voice lines about Brimstone, and they basically they show how close Brimstone and Viper are. She says, "Don't tell me what to do, old man. Someone will die, no matter how fancy our strategy." This is obviously referring to the fact that Brimstone is a moral leader, and he hates it, and his worst nightmare is people dying in the battlefield. And obviously this comes from past trauma, and I'll get into that a little bit later when I talk about the player cards of Brimstone and all the other lore, not just in the voice lines. But Brimstone really hates the fact that he can be the reason that people die. If any of you die, I lose with Brimstone, so don't embarrass me like that, please. This one's an interesting line because the way it's phrased makes it seem like Brimstone bet someone would die, but I really don't think that agrees with his character, so I'm not really sure what bet they're talking about. But obviously, with Viper and Brimstone making bets like this, they're pretty close to each other. Founding co-founders, they would be. Yeah, I like this line, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense in context, unless I'm reading it wrong, which I might be. But to me, this doesn't fit Brimstone's character as much as I think it should. And then Empress Brimstone looks like the fire is still lit. This is just a reference to Brimstone again being old. And then here, Omen just mentions kill their leader and the rest will flee like rats. That's pretty self-explanatory. Brimstone is the leader of the Valorant project. With Killjoy, no Brimstone, remember your screen, blah blah blah. This one's just about him being a boomer and not being able to activate and use technology as well. But Brimstone and Killjoy actually do have a very close relationship. I think somewhere it was mentioned that Brimstone might be one of Killjoy's guardians. I can't remember exactly where it was, but I do remember someone saying something about it. But it really shows here that they have a close connection. Watch over us, Brimstone. Brimstone, that was wonderful. She's one of the people that actually really compliments Brimstone like this. Others commend him for his leadership, but Killjoy actually commends Brimstone for his work. And then obviously this line also reveals that it feels bad to kill their Brimstone. I mean, I will, just feels bad. Again, Brimstone and Killjoy are having a close relationship. She really doesn't want to kill him, but she has to, because it's not him, it's not Prime Brimstone, it's the other Brimstone. But if you're that close with someone, you're going to want to not kill them. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then with Cypher, let me see if I can tell Brimstone's racer. If he's anything like our Brimstone, he won't know how to fix it. This is just, again, boomer, haha. But we find out later that Brimstone's racer is from Kingdom, so maybe that has a second kind of meaning to it as well. Because Cypher is vehemently against Kingdom for what Kingdom did to Bind and his family. Then we have Sova, and Sova has a lot of lines to do with Brimstone. Brimstone, after we win, I'll bring you buy you a drink if you share a memory with us. Obviously, Sova very much appreciates the veterancy and the stories that Brimstone shares. And then, at your command, Brimstone, you're a true leader, lead us victory, Brimstone. I think Sova really respects Brimstone, and then he says Captain killed over here, which shows that he actually really respects Brimstone as a leader and as a captain. I think it also shows that Sova was at one point in the military, and respects that chain of command and authority. And then we have Sage, and Sage is just, remember Brimstone, if anything happens, I'll take the lead, and I know their leader well, I'm assuming he's like us, right? So Sage and Brimstone are pretty close. I think Sage also takes on a leader role within the Valorant project. She's kind of like a mother figure in the Valorant project. She's the cool, collected. And then for Phoenix, it just has a lot of banter with Brimstone. I'm fire, Brimstone, let's go. Looks like the old dog's got some bite. Yo, Brim, don't go tweaking out there. We have some fancy stuff for the youngins. Brimstone's out. It's just mainly just jokes about, Brimstone's old, which is a common theme. Jet's voice line, yo, Brimstone, the drill, just show me where to go, indicates, Jet has been working under Brimstone for a little bit, and that she obviously respects him and listens to him, and then you better hide, old man. Shows that she does respect him to a little bit, but she also is, there's like an endearing kind of connection and relationship there. And then for Reyna, Brimstone, if you must lead, then lead well. Where do we go? As you can see, everyone in the Valorant project does accept Brimstone as their leader. If a Brimstone is like, hey, he's not going to quit, let's make him retire, shall we? I'll show that Brimstone true power. I can't deal with the morality of yet another Brimstone, the hypocrisia. I will silence him. Obviously, Reyna reveals a lot that Brimstone, he's not going to quit, so he's not going to retire from the Valorant project anytime soon. But he's very stubborn, and that's reiterated a lot of times. And again, it comes back to his morality and his stubbornness, that he doesn't want anyone to die, and that he wants to keep everyone safe, and that he feels and he takes on a lot of the responsibility of the Valorant project and the team lives and their survival. With Raze, obviously Raze and Brimstone have a pretty close relationship. Brimstone, Xenia, you sure I can't listen to music? You're really bringing me down here, man. Brimstone, although they have a close relationship, he's still a leader and he's still pretty much set in the old ways. So, he will keep the team together, but obviously he does it in his way, and his way seems to work. And then we also find out that his bracer does have access to Kingdom mainframe, so even though he's working with people that hate Kingdom, like Cypher and Sky and even Sage to a point, he's still willing to everyone is willing to work together just to defeat this enemy force, because it's something greater than themselves. Someone tracked down their Brimstone, cut off the head of the snake. Obviously, this is just another reference to Brimstone being their leader and really the gel that holds the whole Valorant project together. I feel like without Brimstone, they wouldn't be able to have the same kind of cohesion. And I don't even think the Valorant project would be a thing, because I think Viper would be too hateful to run it, and no one else can really connect the Radiance and Kingdom and all the people that hate Kingdom together like Brimstone can, because of his extensive knowledge and experience. And then with Breach, leaves some fight for the rest of us, old man, retired. This again shows this kind of at odds kind of relationship Brimstone and Breach have each other. They're not the greatest of friends, and it shows that even though that everyone in the Valorant project is working together, they're not always going to be buddy-buddy. And then we have Sky and Brimstone, your dog, I respect that you still got some bite, blah blah blah. There's Brimstone over there, that man's a fossil, put him in the ground. This one's mainly just about, Brimstone's old, but it shows again the respect that everyone has for Brimstone. He is old, but he's still got something in him that keeps showing up, and he's got the bite, and he hasn't seen his last days yet, which everyone respects. And then Yoru helped that old man find his grave, who let that old man out. Again, everyone just likes to hate on Brimstone's age. It's nothing new, but it's a little sad. And then obviously Astra, who has the voice lines in the game. Take that boomer soldier boy out. I hate Astra's voice lines. This Brimstone's got a space outlet. Let's hit that Yankee down to earth. Okay, I'm done playing nice with old Yankee boy. by Boomer, which is just, you know, it's just about him being a boomer and being old. So that's really all the voice lines that to do with Brimstone, and it really reveals what kind of leader he is. He's a leader that I think leads by example. He also is very respected and a very moral leader. He doesn't make sacrifices where people are sacrificed. If anything, another example of like a kind of leader who would be like a Captain America leader. He's very much that everyone lives and no one dies. We all work together, and I feel like he is the real gel, or like the real head figure for the Valorant project that keeps everyone together. And without him, I don't think Valorant would be an organization. And with Brimstone's card, we can see here it reveals a little bit of his backstory. Obviously, there's military, and then there's like a fire over here. I don't think these are the same scene, but in the middle is, you know, Brimstone carrying someone's body. You can't really see whose body that is, but it really shows again. In the past, he may have lost someone close to him, or lost someone that he was in charge of, someone he was leading, and that leads to his whole demeanor and vibe, where he's vehemently against anyone being left behind. Again, this is the title of the card, no one left behind. He hates leaving people behind, and he doesn't want anyone to die on his watch. Now, we don't have a versus card yet, which is interesting, but I think if there was be a versus card, I think it would be maybe Brimstone and Breach, or even Brimstone and a new character that might come out soon. And then the other cards don't really reveal a lot about Brimstone, but this one, I mean, he really says all he's about. Brimstone's a pretty general character. He's meant to be the character that, you know, is easy to pick up and everyone can kind of understand what he's about. He's the leader, he's the stock standard, but I really feel like he does have that deeper story about his morality and what he's fighting for. I think that will really come out to shine in the next few cinematic trailers that might drop, or the next new lore advancements, especially with now a lot of the lore's been focused on Jet, Phoenix, Viper, Killjoy, even a little bit on Omen, Yoru, and Sky. But like Brimstone, even though he's the first, he's kind of been left in the dust a little bit. And that's where I'd like to see a lot more to do with Brimstone as the lore progresses forward. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, chuck us a like, comment down below if you want to see anything else in these videos, and if you enjoyed, chuck us a sub as well. I'm looking to do every character an agent from 1 to I think 17 in the game now, and I'll be covering their voice lines, their player cards, and some other knowledge I might have on them. And then after that, I might go through and do the maps. And in between that, I'll also be doing like predictions of agents and anything that new lore that drops as well. So I hope you stick around, and thank you guys.